Hey, how you doing, listeners? This is Gina Versa. We're doing a special interview today. We have a director talking about a horror film. Welcome to the podcast. How you doing, good sir?
I'm good. Excited to be here.
Yeah, you're Chad Archibald, and glad to have you on.
Yeah, no. Writer director of It Feeds. Yeah, excited to chat.
Thank you. Yeah, so I saw the movie last night, and can you talk a little bit about just coming up with the concept of the film? Just because you wrote and directed it. Yeah, tell a little bit about
Yeah, for
that.
sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, I wanted to do a movie that kind of I was inspired by a ton of different films when I was younger and growing up, and I've always wanted to kind of make a movie that was a little bit like A Nightmare on Elm Street or The Cell, and kind of came up with this concept of this therapist who can travel into someone's mind and deal with their therapy or deal with their trauma from the inside. So once I started doing that and came up with this concept where you can kind of break reality, I got very, very excited because I was able to start drawing from a ton of different movies that I really, really loved and really inspired me over my life. And start to finish, once I kind of cracked this idea, I think I wrote the entire script in about 7 days. And then at that point, obviously, workshopped it and cleaned it up. But it came together very, very quickly, and it was just really exciting. I'm excited about it. Then once we went out with it, the first person that we showed it to financed the film, and we were off to the races.
Awesome. Yeah. 7 days, that's quite a sprint too. Just like, writing. I mean, for, even for just like a first draft. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it takes, some of the scripts that we've done have been years. It was actually about 5 years between this project and the one that I'd done before it. So it was a pretty big gap for me. And, you're always trying to come up with that next thing that really inspires you and that next movie that you really, really want to do. I feel like I was really at the end of my rope going, man, maybe I'm just not going to make another movie. And then all of a sudden, snapped.
Yeah. No, yeah, no, it came together well. Any like horror, like, because there's like for horror and just kind of like paranormal, sort of like creatures or just like that, the sort of like characters. Anything you like drew from specifically? Because it's just like,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I again, I really love movies like The Cell.
Mhm.
I think personally, I dealt with some issues in my downtime between films where I had lost both my parents
Mm.
to cancer and dealt with it myself as well. And really, I think, one of the things that really cracked the script was, I had the idea and it was loose and it was just rolling around in my head. And then suddenly I was like, what if I just came up with a creature that in my vision of it would kind of be like a parasite, like a cancer, like a demonic version of cancer kind of. And it's not that the audience needed to know this,
Mhm.
but this is something that for me, I was like, okay, that excites me personally because it's something that I've dealt with and that, has been a struggle in my life. And then all of a sudden I could create these kick-ass characters that would go and fight this thing. So that is really the main reason why I think I got through it in 7 days. It was really finally I had found something that really meant something to me and excited me for that reason. And
Mhm.
yeah, I think, people say write what you know or write something personal or write something honest and that you can connect to. And I mean, it's so true because as much as I had written a bunch of different ideas and things that I had really liked in the past, this was something that, I really, really connected with and felt special and personal for me.
Yeah. No, definitely. It's like seems like very like therapeutic, I would imagine too.
Yeah, no, it absolutely was. And I mean, throughout the entire script in the movie, there are a ton of personal little things that, again, are just for me, not that a viewer would ever get this, but moments, that I kind of struggled with. And, I talked to the cast a lot as we were filming this, just kind of working through the concepts of where some of these scenes originated internally for me
Mhm.
and why they were important to me. And I mean, we shared a lot of really personal experiences, and I really feel like that helped all of us kind of build this film and kind of get it to the finish line and make it something special.
Yeah, just going off of that, can you talk a little bit about working with Ashmore and Ashley Green?
Yeah, I mean, everything came together so quickly for this film because we were approaching the SAG strike. So we knew we had to get this movie done. So we went into pre-production very quickly. I think we casted Sean and Ashley, within a week of us shooting. So they both came to set, upturned their lives for a month and came to set. And, luckily they're such pros. They're so seasoned professionals that they really came in. They knew all their lines. They knew the things that they wanted to challenge. And I think right from the start, you know, both of them were like, how do we make this so awesome? Which is, I love as a filmmaker as well when you have casts that are so passionate about, just delivering and, making that project that's so special to you, so special to them as well. So they were both fantastic. And I mean, we've kept in touch since then. And, I'm so excited to see them this week when we premiere the movie in Canada.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Yeah, I mean, love them in like X-Men and then like Twilight too. So yeah, it's
Yeah, we've
cool.
got fandoms from all over the place in this film, so it's exciting. It's exciting to see the response for it too. So far, it's been awesome. We landed at 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. We debuted yesterday, so it's been
Nice.
getting a great response. And yeah, I'm really really excited to see fans of Sean and Ashley what they think of this film.
Yeah. Can you talk about like, because it seemed like that's a lot of pressure going into the film just before the strike and everything. Any like hardest on set or just like you know, favorite story from set that you could say?
Yeah, I mean, everything was a rush. Like, I think we were, shooting in one direction on a set while we were painting the other side of it. There was days where, we were showing up and there's an empty room and all of us have to kind of drop everything and just dive in and, help with set deck and help with, whatever element is slowing us down because we all knew that if we hit this strike deadline,
Yeah.
we would be shut down for a year, right, or who knows how long.
Yeah.
So it was definitely a team effort with everyone, and there were so many sets that we had built in this movie. I don't know, we probably had 15 plus sets, including giant cave systems and grave sets and different houses and schools, and there were so many different elements of this shoot and so many different locations that it really every day was something different. Like every day we were walking into a new world and a new environment and trying to shoot these things. So, and even at points there was times where we were behind and we were shooting two cameras in two different sets, and literally being like, cut camera one, action camera two, and it's
Yeah.
like different actors in each set. It was something that I had never done before and felt completely chaotic, but we did everything we possibly could to kind of get this movie finished on the time that we had.
Yeah, no, it's like, yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah. Um, and then what part of Canada was this filmed in? Just curious.
Hamilton, so just outside of Toronto. So the
Oh,
majority of it was filmed there, and then a little bit was shot in just outside of a town called Pickering near Toronto as well. And
mm,
there's a set that's built there for a TV show called Reacher. I think that's who originally built it, but it's
oh,
it's a full town in the middle of a field. Like you have to drive through like a forest, and eventually it just pops up, and it's a full town, and it's all facades, and it's you know there's just some weird, creepy buildings there, and it's like you drive into the center of the town, you look around, and you can't see anything but the town.
yeah.
So it was a very, very cool set to shoot in, and also gave us some really, really surreal images that you wouldn't be able to get in a normal city.
Nice. Yeah, I've been to Toronto for the film festival, so
Yeah.
yeah, seems slightly familiar. And then just kind of going off of that, just kind of like the creepiness. Any like ghost or paranormal stories that you could tell the listeners just from your own experience or anything?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if anything too creepy happened on set. Um, it really, I think everything was moving so quickly, and it's always funny on a horror movie set because it's often not that creepy.
Yeah.
It's you're making it creepy on the little screen, but everything around you is just a ton of people, and lights everywhere, and it's always way brighter than it looks. But we definitely, we had some moments where Brooklyn scared some people. She was the creature, so
Hmm.
she would kind of generally show up on set before anyone got to set. She would go into makeup, do full body makeup, and then come downstairs at some point and just kind of like go and stand beside someone. you know, and they'd turn and see this, horrific monster, uh, and scare the crap out of them. But yeah, then she would generally come in and we'd do one shot with her because the monster only pops up, every so often and usually just for like one shot.
Mhm.
We'd do one shot with her and then send her back up and it'd be like 3 hours of, tear down to get her out of
Oh,
makeup. So we actually I went the entire shoot without actually seeing Brooklyn without makeup on.
yeah.
So it wasn't until like one of the last days or whatever that she came down without a mask on just to say hi. And, yeah, but she was such a trooper and she did such a good job.
Yeah, no, love practical effects, so it's cool to like, see that. And then just kind of winding down here because I know we're a little tight on time, but can you talk because you talked a little bit about the inspiration of the movie. Can you talk a little bit about just kind of the father-daughter angle of the story since it's kind of, just like bonding just, kids and parents and just like what a parent would do for their child, you know?
Yeah, and that's really it. It's like me and Shad had talked about this where his character and his daughter were kind of nearing the end of their own movie. And, we're watching Cynthia and her daughter Jordan, and they're kind of our main focus, but they suddenly get a glimpse into the life of this father and daughter who have been going through absolute hell and have gone through hell to get to where they are. And there's a parallel there for sure of, these two parents and what they're willing to do to protect their children. And, I really, really loved, I really wanted Sean in this film because I wanted, someone who's not like this hulking, scary man who's, just intimidating always. It's like I wanted you to be able to see him and be like, oh, I understand that this, like, I can see the father that he used to be. He was probably an amazing father, amazing husband, and would never ever imagine doing the things that he's doing now. But, when push comes to shove and something so horrible happens to your family and you really run out of options to protect your child, it's about, you know, the fact that he's so desperate that makes him scary, and the fact that, you want a villain or a character who is doing something so horrible, but you can also sit there and if you put yourself in their shoes, would you do the same thing? Like where does that extent? And then seeing how horrible that is, and now we have, Cynthia and her daughter Jordan running into the same situation and being like, okay, well, how now it's our turn. How are we going to do things differently? Or is it going to get as bad as it got for them?
Yeah, yeah. No, that's a, good note to end on too, I would say. Yeah, and then the movie comes out on VOD on demand this Friday.
It's Friday, yep.
Yeah, so any listeners, please check it out. Any like social media or anything that you want to promote for the movie or yourself, or just, listeners where to follow after.
Yeah, our production company, Black Fawn Films. If you look it up on Instagram,
Mhm.
Black Fawn Distribution up here in Canada, Samuel Goldwyn in the US. Uh, and yeah, just searching at feeds and helping spread the word about this independent film.
Of course, yeah, we'll link it all in the bio in the description. And yeah, no, thanks for joining us today and everything. It's a good chat. Excited for other people to check out the movie.
Excellent. Thanks so much.